Right now at 10, we're following 4 big stories. Team coverage tonight as the Wolves move on in the playoffs. Highlights live from Denver and how Minnesota fans all over are celebrating tonight.
In weather, you may be awoken by some thunder as storms roll through the region during the overnight hours. I'll time that all out for you, and we'll take a look at our next round of big rain.
Less than 2 hours to the end of the legislative session. We are live from the Capitol with the latest updates. And the latest from Iran after a helicopter carrying the country's president crashed. The news starts now.
That's it. The Timberwolves have knocked out the defending champion Denver Nuggets. They are advancing to the Western Conference Finals.
A 20-year drought over. The Wolves pulling off the biggest second half comeback in Game 7 history, from more than 20 points down to winning the game 98-90. Now going on to play Dallas in the Western Conference Finals. We have team coverage tonight. Heidi Wigdahl watching that win with the fans, but we're going to start with sports director Reggie Wilson, who is live in Denver. Reggie, an incredible team effort tonight.
Yeah, Morgan, that's putting it lightly. You know, the Wolves showed why it is critical to let the full 48 minutes play out before making a decision. You know, at halftime, I'm not going to lie, I thought the Wolves were cooked, but then they came out and showed the type of heart to let everybody know that this team, this is not the same Wolves team. And so we're going to get it going here with some highlights. The Nuggets went on a 16-0 run in the first. Jamal Murray was on one in the first half. Game high 33 points. Jaden McDaniels continued his aggressive scoring. 3 of his 23 makes it a 9-point deficit. Cat also had a big half. They probably aren't in it without him, keeping the Wolves in it. 23 points from him when it was all said and done. Nuggets' biggest lead is 20, as Morgan said. Wolves go on a 28-9 run to take the lead. And look at this insane bucket from Rudy Gobert. Wolves lead by 4 at this point. Then later in the fourth, Naz Reid with the putback. 89-82 now. He had 11. Then a few seconds later, Ant says night-night. A slow start from him, but he heated up in the second half, finished with 16, and the Wolves get the improbable come from behind victory, 98-90 to knock out the champs. And check out this stat, Morgan. Wolves are now 8-1 this season when Ant scores 5 or less points in the first half. Can you believe that stat? They came back and won. They came back and won this game, and they're headed to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 20 years. How about that?
Oh, my goodness. Thanks, Reggie. Get home safe. Hey, back home, though, fans are also buzzing. Heidi Wigdahl was at Tom's Watch Bar for the official Wolves watch party. Hey, Heidi.
Hi, Morgan. This place was electric. So many cheers and tears of joy from fans here at Tom's Watch Bar in downtown Minneapolis. We're just a couple blocks away from Target Center, and the energy was high here all night, but especially in those final 3 minutes of the game. Things have started to clear out here at the bar, but for most of the night, there was a line out the door to get in. This was, as you mentioned, the official watch party for tonight's game. I spoke to a manager who said the other games had been busy, but this was the first where they were full before the game even started. This place was erupting in cheers every other minute. Then came those final few minutes. Here's what fans had to say.
I don't even know. I'm speechless. I don't know. Go Wolves!
It's the best feeling I've had as a Minnesota sports fan in a long time. So.
It was really stressful. He was trying to say we should leave early because it was getting bad, but me and my sister were like, no, we're going to stay. We trust our Wolves.
It's been 20 years since we've been in this position. Yes, I'm so excited. Let's go.
And Morgan, fans here tell me they're excited to do it all over again. Back to you.
Oh, that's so great to see, from the screams to maybe tears in their eyes there. Awesome stuff. Thanks, Heidi. All right, well, turning now to weather, where we are just getting into the start of a wet week ahead. Checking on that radar, you can see that rain is already moving through our area. So let's get straight to Jamie with a look at the next few days.
Yeah, we do have the showers coming in right now. Thunderstorms developing as we go into the overnight hours. and we're going to likely wake up to a few rumbles of thunder through these overnight hours. A little bit of rain lingering tomorrow morning. And that's just the start of the week, and that's just the start of a wet pattern that we have setting up. You see those stronger thunderstorms in parts of the Dakotas. Again, overall, this energy will be coming our way. I'm going to time that out for you in the Futurecast. But take a look at this. Again, as we get closer to midnight and thereafter, showers and thunderstorms certainly a possibility through parts of central and southern Minnesota, especially with some pretty steady temperatures there. I also want to point out, the taller the bar, the better the chance. That's how you look at this graph. You see Tuesday stands out to you, Friday stands out, as well as Sunday night. That's a number of days away. But again, a few more rounds of some good heavy rainfall, especially looking at you Tuesday. Those details coming up in a few minutes.
All right. Thanks, Jamie. Well, in St. Paul, less than 2 hours remain for lawmakers to wrap up their work for this session. A lot of progress this evening and a lot more work to do. John Croman joins us live from the Capitol with where things are right now.
Hey, Morgan, it's very clear tonight that a lot of the Democrats' top priorities are not going to get done before the clock runs out less than 2 hours from now. Part of that is due to successful filibusters by Republicans, and part of it's due to the time lost over the weekend to negotiations on the rideshare bill. Now, today, the ERA is probably the one, Equal Rights Amendment, that's probably going to be pushed aside. It passed at 4:30 a.m. in the House after 12 hours of debate. House members came back for a day filled with long speeches and burned some of that time just working on arts and crafts projects. But the ERA is yet to make it to the Senate floor tonight, where you expect many hours of debate, especially because this one is different from the one that passed the House is different from what passed the Senate.
And the question really for us is time. It is an issue that we have to debate. It is language that we haven't debated before in the Minnesota Senate. So I really do think if we can get there, we'll take it up. But we have to give ourselves and Minnesotans the time for a debate that is fair.
They have pushed everything. If this was a priority for them, the ERA would have been done weeks ago. But now they've waited till the very last day and the very last hours to have a debate on a bill that we haven't seen the language yet in the Senate.
The other big storyline that emerged today was when Democrats used a rare maneuver to stop a Republican filibuster, and that caused things in the Senate to grind to a halt for a while. And what we're talking about is they were debating the cannabis tweaks bill, and that eventually passed. But to get to that vote, Democrats used what's known as the nuclear option, calling for a roll call before the Republicans had finished talking about it. So Republicans responded with their own maneuvers to try to end the session early.
Calling the question hasn't happened in 15 years. And so I think it's been used a handful of times in the last 25 years. And so to do that on these bills, just so you can get your agenda through on the very last day when you have all these bills, yeah, it makes people pretty upset.
I have been imploring my Republican colleagues to join us and do this work. And they keep laying down roadblocks after roadblocks. In fact, today when we moved the previous question, their first motion in response was a recess for 6 hours.
That didn't happen, but they're still way behind here. Bills that are probably definitely not going to make it. The sports betting bill, they're still debating Uber Lyft. Straw purchasers bill is off. As we mentioned, ERA is out. And sports betting done for the year. They did have some victories, the EMS bill and a bill on the copper thefts, and they did celebrate the Wolves' victory. Morgan, they could all get together and agree on that. They stood up and clapped when they heard about what happened in Denver.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Some sign of unity there over the Wolves. Thanks, Croman. All right, well, right now, hundreds of rescue workers in Iran are still trying to find a helicopter that crashed. On board was the country's president and foreign minister. Iranian media says that the helicopter made a hard landing in mountains in the northwest part of the country. They were on the way back from an event near the country's border. Video shows right now that rescuers are searching through thick fog. State media also says that leaders are in touch with people at the site, but it is not clear what condition the two leaders are in. White House officials say that President Biden has been briefed on what's happening. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says that U.S. intelligence is watching the crash, but says right now it does not appear suspicious.
I've just spoken to the intelligence authorities. At this point, there is no evidence of foul play. It looks like an accident. There was very bad foggy weather in northwest Iran where the copter crashed. So it looks like an accident, but it's still being fully investigated.
Iranian Supreme Leader says that the crash won't affect the country's foreign affairs. Tonight, the Fry Fire in the Superior National Forest is now 100% contained. Fire officials from the Forest Service say that they are confident it won't continue to spread. This fire burned through over 200 acres and was sparked from embers from a prescribed burn nearby. Right now, crews are patrolling to make sure that it doesn't flare up again. Still watching and waiting for a stinky bloom in the Como Park Conservatory. Their corpse flower, Horace, was expected to bloom this afternoon, but is making everyone wait. The flower is one of the largest and rarest plants in the world, and this will be Horace's first bloom in 5 years. Once it blooms, the smell will last about 12 hours, and then the bloom will collapse a few days later. All right, we've seen hot dog eating contests. How about egg roll eating contests? Union Mun Kitchen hosted the event with Horizon Builders. You know, how many do you think you could eat in 15 minutes? The winner, Ethan Teskey, downed 20 of them. Congrats to him. Coming up, a discovery in a KARE glove box, bringing back old memories and sparking new friendships. And later in sports, Minnesota's PWHL squad is in the league's first finals. Will fills us in on how Game 1 went out in Boston.